Welcome to this Thursday afternoon live edition of Dodgers Territory. That is Clint Pasillas. I am Alanna Rizzo. We are your hosts. We are psyched that you are here. Thank you so much. Like us, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, all of the things, and support the show in style. The DT store is now open, DodgersTerritoryShop.com. Or you can, of course, click the store button right here on YouTube and support us. Special guest Greg Kreindler is going to be joining us momentarily, an unbelievable artist who has some beautiful Dodger-inspired work. Excited to have Greg on the show. Much to talk about baseball-related. First, let's get to the big ticket.
Let's do it.
All right, Dodgers sweep the Reds, 2-game lead over the Padres. Clint, they did what they needed to do.
That's the best way of putting it. They did what they needed to do. You got to beat up on bad teams. I don't know if the Reds are bad. They didn't put together a very good product against the Dodgers over the course of this week. And like you said, Dodgers took care of business. 2-game lead over the Padres in the NL West. Suddenly you could breathe a little bit. And importantly, they now own the second best record in the National League, which gives them a bye week heading into the postseason. But everything that happened this week, you really gotta love it, you gotta enjoy it, and you gotta keep building off of it.
Yeah, so the Phillies are now not ahead of the Dodgers in terms of the seeding is concerned. The Mets have swept the Phillies, so the Phillies have a Queens problem, if you will, but that gives the Dodgers a better seeding if the season were to end today. So what does this mean for you with the sweep of the Reds? So I think are a pretty decent team. I mean, the Reds, unlikely they make the postseason, but still in the conversation about 4.5 games back of a wild card spot in the National League. So is everything right in the world, Clint Pasillas, because the Dodgers swept the Reds?
Dodgers sweep the Reds. The Padres lose a couple of games. They have a nice, I'm going to call it a comfortable 2-game lead in the NL West. With the schedule coming up for both teams, I really like the Dodgers being in the driver's seat. And from this point forward, when you're talking about having at the bare minimum the second best record in the National League, and you're talking about leading the NL West by a couple of games, they are in complete control of their destiny. You stay right where you're at and just play the next 28 games or whatever it is. You're going to get a bye week. You're going to move right up into the wild card, into the NLDS. Have your rest. Everybody's happy. I think the biggest question for me coming out of this is, are the Dodgers good now, or were the Reds just a bit underwhelming? What's sort of your taste on that?
I think the Dodgers have always been good. I don't think the Dodgers have rattled off an unbelievable win streak at any point of the season. We did not have anything a la the Milwaukee Brewers. But the Dodgers have always been a talented team. What I take away from it is that you absolutely needed to, at the very minimum, take the series from the Reds. I will absolutely take the sweep. And I think that's exactly what you need to see. You're supposed to beat the teams that have a worse record than you. You're supposed to beat the teams that on paper and in theory and execution are worse than you are. And the Dodgers did that. What they did against the Cincinnati Reds, Clint Pasillas, is what they did not do against the Angels. And that's what I was so pissed off about the Angels series. It's like, you're supposed to beat these guys, right? Like, I can handle not beating the Padres in a series because the Padres are a really good team. I cannot stomach not only losing the series to the Angels, but being swept by the Angels. That's inexcusable. That's inexcusable. Yeah. So the Dodgers did what they needed to do against the Reds, who again play a very sloppy brand of baseball, and the Dodgers made them pay. So that's what I take away from this. I think the Dodgers have always been good, but you got to beat those bad teams.
Yeah, and adding to the Angels conversation there, losing 2 of 3 to the Rockies. They just weren't playing Dodgers weren't playing Dodger baseball at that point. And I mentioned it last night on my my All Dodgers channel. I just like the way Dave Roberts might say they're using different clubs in the bag. They're using different golf clubs in the bag. They are willing to find some grass and not always just sell out for homers. Sure, some ground balls sneaking under the glove of Elly De La Cruz or up the middle. That might not happen against better ball clubs, more defensively inclined ball clubs, i.e. the clubs you face during the postseason. But still, taking advantage of the competition you're facing is what this team needs to do, and be willing to just do whatever it takes to move a player forward, move the ball forward, not strike out, not pop up. And again, I think we're seeing just overall something better with the club. And what I like about yesterday's win, they did it without Freddie Freeman. Alex Call was supposed to be in the lineup. He wasn't in there. A couple of injury notes there. Got Freddie there with the, it was called a neck stinger by Dave Roberts. Same with Alex Call. He has a lower back issue that kept him out. In your opinion, any worries, any concerns about these dudes?
I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth. The first one is no. I think you're forced to give Freddie Freeman a day. You have to force him out of the lineup. So I'm not worried about that. But the other side of my mouth says, in order for Freddie to actually listen and take a day, maybe something, is wrong. But I'm going to go ahead and say I think going to be fine. You know how much Freddie Freeman hates to be out of the lineup. And, Dave sometimes has to say, like, I'm the boss here. You are not the boss of me. I am the boss of you, Mr. Freeman. So this one out for a hot second. So no, over the course of everything, I'm not concerned. What I would like to see more than that is Andy Pajas and Will Smith kind of getting going again, right? I mean, Will Smith has been on a tear. And he's been unbelievable this season. No disrespect to anything that he's done. And Andy Pajas has become a much better player than I certainly ever gave Andy Pajas credit for. But I'd like to see those guys get going again. I just wish the whole lineup was going at the same time, which I know is wishful thinking because that typically does not happen ever. But no, I'm not concerned overall.
You mentioned that. It's kind of funny how it works out. Willie's kind of a little bit on the down. August hasn't been great to him. Same with Andy Pajas. Sure, they're having their moments. They're hitting some homers, all that kind of stuff. But what's funny about this team, especially this season, is when one dude is down, another player kind of steps up. And listen, every time we have his bags packed and he's ready to go to the moon for an extended stay, Michael Conforto finds a way to wake up just a little bit. 5 hits in this series. And, he mentioned team-wide, there was a little bit of a mind shift for him and the team coming out of that Padres series. But listen, 5 hits in this series. Is Michael Conforto going to survive the regular season?
I mean, but see, that's where you said the key phrase, though. You said regular season. And that's why I see what you did there, a little sneaky guy. Does Michael Conforto survive the regular season? Yes, because here we are on August 20th. Michael Conforto, Clint Pasillas would have been gone already if the Dodgers had any intent of not keeping him. He would have been gone a long time ago. So in my opinion, Michael Conforto is here for the long term of the regular season. Does that mean that Michael Conforto... Gosh, Chad Moriyama saying we may have no choice but to hope for baseball to be baseball and make Michael Conforto NLCS MVP a thing. Hey, I'm fine. I'd love that. But the thing is, what I notice is that it doesn't mean that he'll make the postseason roster. Okay, so a lot can change. And again, you're only focused on that particular series, right? So let's say they get the bye. You're only focused on the NLDS. Who are you matching up against in terms of opposing pitchers in the DS? Where does Michael Conforto fit in all of that? Is he here until September 29th or whenever the hell the postseason starts? Yeah. Yes. Is he on the postseason roster for the DS? That I don't know.
Probably not. And with guys coming back, we'll give the latest kind of health and injury updates. We know there's some boys on the mend. Ha-Seong Kim will be one of the guys coming back. But he will come back with the rosters expanding on September 1st, so that doesn't cost anybody a job or anybody any playing time immediately. Maybe some playing time, but it doesn't cost them a roster spot. Max Muncy not too far behind him. Tommy Edman probably early mid-September, and you will need a couple of roster spots for those dudes. So. Right. At least on the active roster, and that's where it's going to come down to. Is it going to be a Justin Dean? Yes, but Alex Freeland versus Michael Conforto. Eventually, when you do need to get to, paring down your roster for the postseason and getting your 26 best players, one of those guys, perhaps two, one of those guys is not going to be on the roster. What do you got?
Let me ask you this. Do you go with the veteran presence in Conforto, or do you go with the seemingly hotter hand and bat, hotter glove and bat in Freeland?
There's always something special about a veteran on the Dodgers. What I would do is I think Freeland makes a little bit more sense. Plus, he's one of the Dodgers guys. Personally, I would do that. Is that the smart play? I don't know. We won't know. We'll never be able to know. But I do think this organization, if they, like you said, it is August 28th. If Michael Conforto is still on the roster, he's going to be on it through the month of September. And I would not be shocked even slightly if he finds his way into or onto the NLDS roster, NLCS roster. So as Chad Moriyama put it, he could be the NLCS MVP somehow. It's just going to happen. And the thing is, he has postseason experience where Alex Friedland does not. Sure, it's a decade ago with the Mets, but Conforto's kind of been there. Maybe not so much done that, but he has been there, and I think that does mean something to this front office.
Yeah, all right. So there's a topic here in the chat. All the Dodgers are veterans now, in case you didn't know. Alex Freeland's not a veteran, bro.
Yeah.
So we're saying, do you go with Alex Freeland or do you go with Michael Conforto in terms of the veteran presence over the hot hand? A ton to talk about, which is a good thing. We love that we have a team that people care about. We love that we cover a team that is always good. We're going to be joined by Greg Kreindler here momentarily. But first, let's hear from our folks. Let's hear. Are we hearing from us?
No, wait,
we're
no.
Hearing from us. Yeah, we're hearing from us.
It's technically not hearing from us. We want to take a moment to spotlight.
We are showcasing a really, 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 really good player.
somebody nobody ever talks about. We're going to talk about it right now after this wipe. Guys, this is the DraftKings Player Spotlight. Appreciate DraftKings sponsoring this section of the show. And we got to, speaking of show, got to shine a spotlight on Shohei frickin' Ohtani. Of course, he starts last night, gets his first career win as a Dodger as a pitcher. He hits, he pitches, he bobbles because it was his bobblehead night. He shuts down hecklers. He's the GOAT. He's a unicorn. It's beyond GOAT. He's a unicorn.
He looked really good. And we talked about it on Fair Territory with Ken Rosenthal, how he's kind of brought out that splitter to right-handed hitters. So that's another tool in the Shohei Ohtani toolbox. He just looked really clean last night. He looked healthy, a lot of swing and miss. And it was kind of funny too. And it was like, oh shit, I just finished pitching and I'm leading off the next inning. Like he's kind of like do off the mound. And then he starts to run. I mean, again, we forget sometimes how talented this guy is on both sides of the baseball. But all I care about for him is health. You know what I mean? All I care about is that Shohei Ohtani is on our team. And by the way, until he's not, he's always the MVP, which it is to me a little bit unfair when you think about the fact who is ever going to win this again? Let's think about it this way, Clint.
Yeah.
If Cal Raleigh was in the National League, Cal Raleigh has 50 home runs, more than, what is it, 4 or 5 more than Shohei Ohtani at the moment. I think, is Shohei still at 45 and Cal Raleigh has at least 50?
Yeah, I think
so
45,
if he was in the National League, I still think Ohtani, even though Cal Raleigh, I think, is more valuable to the Mariners than Ohtani is to the Dodgers just because of the rest of the team that is surrounding Shohei, I still think Shohei gets MVP. I mean, how do you not give it to Shohei every year?
When you have somebody who leads baseball in like so many offensive categories, and oh, by the way, ho-hum, he can go out there and be an ace and strike out 9 Cincinnati Reds over 5 innings and just look absolutely dominant and decide to throw up, a bunch of curveballs just because, whatever, we had it working yesterday. I don't think baseball is going to be fair. I don't think the National League is ever going to be fair outside of injury or Shohei being like, listen, I don't want it anymore. It's going to take Major League Baseball making a secondary MVP award or just the Ohtani award for him to get every year, and then everybody else gets a chance. Because when you look at Kyle Schwarber being in the conversation, I love Schwarbs. I've had to hate him as a Dodger fan all over the years. Very good baseball player. He's not the most valuable player in the National League. That is Shohei F. Ohtani.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the good Lord himself, the sweet Messiah, could come down, and I think they'd still give it to Shohei Ohtani. And by the way, he also shuts down hecklers. Add that to the list of things that Shohei Ohtani can do really, really well. I love him. We're lucky. It's been an honor and a pleasure to watch what Shohei has been able to do. So again, we appreciate DraftKings Player Spotlight. We appreciate DraftKings for sponsoring the show. You guys are the real MVPs. Pick Six from DraftKings is now the most fun way to play fantasy sports. Download the DraftKings Pick Six app now. Use code FOUL, that's code FOUL, for new customers to get a special sign-up offer, better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick Six from DraftKings.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick Six not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick Six bonus picks that expire in 14 days. 8/24/25 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Terms at picksix.draftkings.com/promos.
It is an absolute pleasure to be joined by a friend and an unbelievably talented artist, Greg Kreindler, who has been so inspirational in terms of painting our national pastime. He is an artist. He is a baseball fan. Greg, thanks for being here. It is so great to see you again, and I am just so inspired by your work. I'm not an art aficionado. I don't understand it, but man, your stuff is so cool. How are you, first of all?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on again.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's good to see you too. Let's start with, of course, this is Dodgers territory, so we're going to showcase what you have done in terms of the Dodgers. Let's bring up the first one that we have. Clint, if you can push the button, if you will. Everybody knows this, of course. That is Jackie Robinson. And tell me about the photograph first, because for those of you that don't know Greg, he paints based on photographs. So tell me about the artist and what you liked about this particular piece.
Yeah, well, the image is based on just the specific black and white photograph. I think it's pretty well known of Jackie. I want to say that it might have been on some of those early Apple or Mac ads or something like that. So I'd kind of always been really into that image. And it just so happened that I had a client who was also a big Dodger fan, a big Shohei fan, and big Robinson fan, and he kind of vibed with it in the same way. So he commissioned me to paint it for him.
Yeah, it's an insane piece right there. I mean, Alanna was, whenever I'm told, hey, we're going to have an artist on, it's like, how do we make this something where it's like, you got to see the art in real life to really enjoy it. But even coming through the screen, I think something really shows about these photos. Getting this one here, Sandy Koufax, I mean, such an iconic moment. Got the kick there. Yeah, tell us about this particular piece, painting Koufax, what makes kind of, I guess, painting somebody, the artwork of creating, with stencils and all these things, somebody else's photo, creating a human being, and it looks as good as you make it look.
Thank you, Clint. You're being very nice. It's a challenge. The thing is, the majority of the photography that I work from is black and white. And I kind of, take it as my job to breathe life back into these guys, whether they've been long gone or whether they're still alive. Thankfully, Sandy is still with us. But I'm trying to kind of put the viewer into that specific game, that specific moment, as much as I can. But as much as I enjoy doing these paintings, I can't not give props to the many men and women who have been photographing the game for over 100 years at this point. So, people like Charles Conlon and Robert Rigger and Walter Yoss, like these are the people whose shoulders I stand on to do these things.
Let me ask you this, because one time I asked you, if you could paint my husband or an active player or whatever, and that's not really what you do. How do you decide, Greg, who you paint in terms of photography, and do they all have to be former players? And is there any chance you would do like a Paul Skeens one day, or a Freddie Freeman, a Mookie Betts, Clayton Kershaw, of course, who's headed to Cooperstown?
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie, the majority of the draw for me is if I'm kind of going back to, I guess, the golden era of the sport or even before that, mainly because I think when we think of those players, for the most part, we think of those like grainy black and white images. And, the I think the draw for me is kind of bringing them back to life in color. Whereas,
Mm-hmm.
today it's kind of like if you're watching, Shohei pitch or hit a home run, you're seeing every second of every at bat or every pitch from so many different angles, and it's in color, it's in 4D or 4K or whatever. So there's a little bit less of a draw, but at the same time, I do like painting some of the modern guys. And I think I'd mentioned to you online that I actually do have to start a painting of Shohei very soon. So I'm excited and also kind of intimidated because he's kind of like the unicorn of baseball right now.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to live up to.
What is, I would almost ask, like, what's the hardest one to creation you've ever had to make? I'm sure they all have their own challenges in some way, shape, or form. What I'm kind of curious about is, what is the challenge of picking the right photo? Is it always just somebody commissioning and be like, hey, I want this one, you make this one pretty, please? Or is it something where it's like, I want a photo of Shohei Ohtani, find me the best, most indelible image of Shohei? Or, of course, this one, Jackie stealing home plate there in the World Series, maybe stealing, I don't know, they didn't have a replay back in the day. But what is the challenge there of picking the right photo to work with?
Well, I mean, it depends. It can kind of go both ways, because there's some people who might contact me and say, okay, I want Jackie, this specific image, and that's it. I'm not really going to settle for anything less. But other times they give me a bit more freedom, and they say, okay, I'd like something done of Jackie. Maybe in like the first couple of years that he was in the league. Maybe at bat. So I'll kind of look through stock photo houses or whatever collection of photos that I have and try to find something. For me, I'm usually drawn towards the photography that has kind of a strong sense of light to it. So if there's something kind of dynamic about the light, whether it's, a bright sunny day and, you see these great crisp shadows, or it can even be kind of like, an overcast day, and maybe the play that is being portrayed is kind of, solemn or something like that. I'll also vibe to that. It all kind of varies, but I feel like it definitely goes back mainly to the quality of light within the picture.
Greg, let me ask you this, and I'm going to get our chat involved here. Steve Saldivar wants to know, how does painting in color... No, it's all good. It's all good. How does painting in color challenge the artist?
Oh, man, that's tough. So the thing is, when I do these paintings, I'm trying to not think of it as like a Ted Turner thing. Not that there's anything wrong with Ted Turner, but since I guess I've been painting for so long, and I did a lot of painting from life, whether it was painting from a model or painting kind of plein air stuff outside, a lot of like direct observation. It's kind of like taking everything that I've learned from that in, I guess, however many years that I've been painting, and trying to imbue that into each particular image. It's tough, like what makes a sunny day look like a sunny day? What is the color temperature of this light compared to the color temperature of this shadow? This is all stuff that you got to kind of, or at least I have to take into consideration when I'm doing these paintings. And I think that's kind of how it fosters the illusion. But at the same time, it's still something that's not an exact science, and it's something I'm always trying to get better at. But I'm, really happy and really grateful to be able to have that challenge and be able to do it.
There was somebody who had something of a question, but they were rude to us in the chat earlier, so I'm not going to read their question. What I am going to point out is, just looking behind you, you got to have a lot of stuff to be an artist. How, what is a storage situation like for you? How does a family feel about everything taking up all the space in their house? Because that's one of the things I noticed. My great grandfather was a painter, was an artist, and there was just always so much stuff. And obviously, you need to make break a couple eggs to make an omelet. You need to make a little mess to make something beautiful. But yeah, what's a situation like there over at the Kreindler home?
Well, luckily, it's not too bad. I do have my own studio in our 3-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, and it's basically, cordoned off from the kids and our dog. there are canvases everywhere. I'm not going to lie. And the majority of it is stuff that has been commissioned that's kind of in like varying states of completion. Again, I'm super lucky in that I have people, commissioning me to do these things. And it's great to kind of get a painting out and get it to them and have them be happy. At the same time, I always kind of think, oh, well, this is great. Now you can make room for another painting to kind of put in there. But the kids understand, the dog kind of understands. My wife is incredibly understanding because she's an author herself. So not so much when it comes to the storage part. I mean, she understands that, but the fact that she's also a creative really helps. So she kind of understands that, I kind of need to be in the studio kind of doing my thing, breaking brushes and cursing at myself. And I know that she needs to be, in her room writing, like banging her head on the keyboard. So we respect that. We know that. So, we're very good for each other in that sense.
I have two questions before Clint has his final one. Greg, first is how does one commission you? Let's start there, and then I have one question that is probably going to make you not want to be friends with me anymore.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Well, I mean, if you want to commission me, you can always find my website or find me on social. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. The problem is I have an extensive backlog of commission work right now.
I love that for you.
I really appreciate it. I've been telling people that the wait list is over 11 years, which is insane. And it doesn't even sound real, but it is. And I'm so grateful. But if you are interested and you feel like waiting, then we can make something happen.
I am so excited for you. That makes my heart burst. That's fantastic. Good for you, Greg Kreindler. All right, my question for you is I would imagine being born in New York, the way that your name is spelled, we've discussed this before, is because your parents were Yankees fans, Craig Nettles, obviously. So how'd you like the World Series last year, my friend, with the Dodgers and the Yankees?
Oh, I got to go. This is over. It was tough. It was tough. It was tough to watch, especially those last few games. But you know what? This might sound a little crazy. I mean, I'm a Yankee fan. I bleed pinstripes and everything. My mother, Brooklyn Dodgers fan. So there is a love for the Dodgers anyway. But at the same time, since I'm like so concerned with, painting guys who played 70 years ago, I feel like my heart is more in what happened in the past than it is the present. So I'm able to kind of disassociate myself a little bit. At least that's what I keep telling myself. And it means that I don't have to go to therapy for it, I guess. But that was a tough series, man.
Yeah, that's the healthy way of looking at it. Well, I guess to cap this and let you get out of here. I have kind of a similar question, but a different way, asked a different way. When you hear like Dodgers, just the name Dodgers, what is that kind of feeling? It could be one word, 3 words, something simple. What kind of feeling does that elicit for you?
Oh, well, honestly. It feels like family, and it sounds weird again, saying that I was kind of brought up a Yankee fan, because I like to think of my mother and her brother when they were kind of growing up in Brooklyn and in Queens, going to Ebbets Field with my grandfather. That sense of community, like that lineage, that is just super important to me. So, whenever I think of the Dodgers, for the most part, with the exception of last October, it's a very warm and fuzzy feeling.
Love that. Well, Greg, we appreciate the time, the history you bring here, and also the history you put into your work. It's beautiful stuff, guys. We'll make sure we link his website in the description of this video and all that, so people can find the work and get on that very, very long waiting list to get yourself some work commissioned. He won't do dog portraits or anything like that. Maybe not. I mean, money talks. But Greg, we appreciate the time, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. Always. Talk soon, my friend. Be good.
Thank you. Same to you. Take care.
We will be back after a quick word from our friends at Foul Territory.
Kratz, if you need to pay rent for your apartment and you're not getting anything for it, then you probably haven't heard of Built.
You have to pay rent every single month. Why not get some points that you can redeem for other things that are a lot more fun than paying rent, like flights, hotels, Uber rides?
That's right. And it doesn't stop there. Built is about making your entire neighborhood more rewarding. You can dine at your favorite local restaurants, and you can earn additional points with VIP treatment at certain fitness studios. And you can also enjoy exclusive experiences that are just for Built members. They announce them every month. Built is turning a monthly expense into an opportunity to earn rewards and discover the best that your neighborhood has to offer. Your rent is finally working for you, and you can earn points on rent and around your neighborhood wherever you call home by going to joinbuilt.com/foul. That's joinbilt.com/FOUL. Make sure to use our URL so they know that FT sent you. Get after it.
All right, everybody, meet Chip. He's a good boy. He's about 18 months old. He is leash trained, potty trained, loves other dogs, is super happy, sweet. He needs an adopter. He is being fostered right now in the Los Feliz area there in Southern California. He's completely vaccinated, completely healthy, and just needs a forever home. So please hit us up at guidrysguardian.org or on my socials if you want more information. Clint, by the way, somebody in our chat, I think it was Martin, said that they would like for you to have a black and white picture and for Greg to paint you. So there you have that. Get on the waiting list, everybody, for that.
Pose.
Yeah, the right pose, right pose. What's coming up on All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas tonight? Is it a YouTube-only member show?
Yeah, it's our first one. We've talked about this for our supporters of the channel on Patreon and YouTube members, to which we are extremely thankful for the folks. So it's not really giving back, but it's something different. It is whatever people want to talk about. It's like AMA on crack or whatever, but we are having our first members-only members-only live stream tonight. Myself, Jeff Snyder, what the other guy, Kevin Skinner, the other guy. We're going to be live at 8 o'clock Pacific time, just hanging out with the chat, talking about whatever people want to talk about, the nitty-gritty, and maybe I'll answer what pose I would pick if Greg were, painting my photo. Maybe one of these. I don't know. It's got to be something real adorable.
I love that he has an 11-year waiting list. I'm so happy for that guy. He's a good dude.
That's cool.
An unbelievable
Crazy.
artist. All right. So thought for the road. I don't know if you happened to hear it. Kike Hernandez was on a podcast. I believe it's called La Plática. And he was talking about when the team travels with Shohei, it's like they're not even a baseball team anymore, Clint. They are the Beatles. So I ask you this. Who would be your mania? You know how there used to be Beatles mania? Who's your mania?
It's funny. You and I talked about this earlier, and I don't know that I have anything. Like it's the whole idea of putting somebody on a pedestal. It feels weird to me. I've been around, as you know, I've been around these players. Like as a baseball fan, as a sports fan, you idolize these people. Listen, I've been in an elevator with Clayton Kershaw. I've talked to him. That should be somebody who is the GOAT. We probably shouldn't have, but we shook hands of Shohei Ohtani in spring training. Same with Yamamoto or whatever. It's like they're just normal people. Dave Roberts, not that he's some sort of mythic god or whatever, but still.
In Massachusetts, I'll tell you that much. The man never has to buy dinner in Mass.
That's fair. I didn't know what you were doing there, so I decided to take you off the screen. But I don't know. Again, I'm bad about this because I don't know. I don't have the that idol sort of thing. If anything, I guess it would be the Beatles. If somehow John Lennon could come back to life, I'm a Beatles fan. That's my number one band. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And
I learned something about you.
Yeah. You should come by on karaoke nights. I love doing the whole Abbey Road medley. Much to the chagrin of actually people enjoy it, but it's my chance to take over, which clearly I love to do.
All right. So if
you have a mania?
Yeah, if we get to 100,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers for Dodgers territory, I will send you to London and Abbey Road. How about that?
I'm in. I think you're safe, but I'm in, and I appreciate the idea.
I didn't say it was going to be tomorrow. We will get there.
Guys, subscribe like mofos to hurt Alana's bank account.
Yeah, tell everybody so I can send Clint to London. My mania would have to be like a number of karaoke, a number of country artists that all got together, tailgate, bonfire. Everyone has like their favorite beverage, like the best wine, the best bourbon, whatever it is that you drink. And everybody's like tailgating and has all of us are just around singing a bunch of great country songs. But the caveat is they would have to want to be there. It couldn't be just like me wishing that this would happen. Like they would have to be as equally excited about the opportunity to hang with me and Chris than we would be having them there. So I don't think that's going to happen.
I have like so many like probably Luke Combs songs going through my head with this one. It's like on any given Friday night, you get the boys together with your beer, your truck, your double wide, your girl, your dog.
That's right. You got to bring the dog.
Yeah.
Can I pet that dog?
Can I pet that dog?
Yeah, that would be mine, but I mean, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, well, I like that your one mania was just having a country rager in some backfield somewhere on some dirt. They love dirt.
I would do it in my cul-de-sac. It doesn't need to be like in the backwoods of Alabama. I would do it right here. So that's fair. Anyway.
Hey, before we sign off. Huh? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure people will have questions about Alanna, so I will make sure to be as mean as possible. Before we sign off, much earlier in the chat, we appreciate Raphael for sending a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Raphael. But asking, I guess it's not really an ask. It's more of a statement. He has seen enough out of Edgardo Henriquez to be of the mindset that Baby Bazooka belongs on that postseason roster, in that postseason bullpen. And I have to agree. We talked about this last night. Dude has been nails. 11 innings, no earned runs so far this season for Edgardo. He's the man, and I take him over Kirby Yates with all due respect.
Respectfully. My question is with Bazooka, though, is like you have no idea what you're going to get.
Well, yeah, Bazooka's out. This is about Henriquez. They call him Baby Bazooka.
I apologize. Never mind. I read that wrong. Never mind. Okay. Yeah. All right. Whatever. That's fine. Respectfully. All right, guys. We appreciate you. By the way, Clint and I are back Sunday post game. That's our next show. Sunday post game. We appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe. Let's get Clint to London. We'll see you soon. Go Dodgers.
Bye.